Welcome back to the Jon Krawczynski Show. We talk a lot of basketball on this program. As you know, today we'll talk a little more about the business side. We'll also answer questions about Malik Beasley in the Twitter question portion of the show. And we'll mention the Lynx as well. Not mention the Lynx, highlight the Lynx who continue to play brilliantly. I thought Cheryl Reeves' last comments in her last press conference on Sunday night were very telling. We'll get to all that and more with news around the NBA. Again, this is Jon Krawczynski Show. He's Jon Krawczynski from The Athletic. I'm Jim Suhan from TalkNorth.com and the Minnesota Star Tribune. We're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services studio.
Scott for Aquarius, your authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Yes, water is essential, but what if it came with sparkle and zero hassle? With Connecticut, enjoy softer skin, shiny fixtures, spotless dishes, and worry-free drinking water. It's home services made easy with 36 months, 0% financing during our state fair special. Schedule your free water analysis at AquariusHomeservices.com. Financing based on credit approval. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended.
Hey, this is Randy Shaver. Along with Kevin Gorg, we host the show Fantasy Huddle on Talk North. Each week, we're going to break down the matchups for the NFL season and try to give you the best chance to win your fantasy football games each and every week. Join us for Fantasy Huddle on Talk North.
And the Jon Krawczynski Show is presented to you by Giggly, THC Beverages, and Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood. All right, John. So new CEO named, we're talking here on Wednesday, named not long ago officially. Also, they've made some staff changes, including one person that both you and I worked with closely. And we may be getting a little more insight into how Lori and Rodriguez are going to be operating. Why don't you take us through all of that?
Yeah, I think first of all, we'll start with the news of the day. We're recording this Wednesday morning, and the Timberwolves and Lynx, Mark Lori and Alex Rodriguez, announced that they have hired a new CEO to run the business operations for the franchises, and that person is Matthew Caldwell. Now, that name may not be super popular, well-known in Minnesota basketball, but when you look at what he's accomplished with the NHL, with the Florida Panthers, it's pretty impressive. He was the president and CEO of the Panthers for the last 9 years. The Panthers have made the last 3 Stanley Cup finals. They've won the last 2 of them. They're the 2-time defending champions. So he is a well thought of name on the business side of sports. For the success that the Panthers have had. They were kind of, a fledgling franchise for a very long time. Now that they have had a ton of success on the ice, it is also translated to a ton of success with the business side of things, with ticket sales and TV revenues and or TV ratings and corporate sponsorship revenues. So they hired a guy away from the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions to come to Minnesota and take over the business side of the operations here. And it's a big get, not only for who he is, but I think the most notable thing here, Jim, is that they gave him a 10-year contract to come and be the leader of the business operations in Minnesota. And as you and I both know, that term is just a staggering amount of job security in this kind of industry where you measure longevity in months, not years. So for Lori and Rodriguez to say, this is the guy we want, we're going to do whatever it takes to get you. And one of the things that it took to get him was a 10-year contract. It's just not something that that you're used to seeing when you're covering professional sports deals. 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, maybe for some kind of high level executives. But 10 years is just an unbelievable amount of longevity. And that really kind of goes to the sort of mantra that they have put forth since taking over the team, is they want stability and continuity in their leadership positions. And so that includes Tim Connolly, that includes Chris Finch and Cheryl Reeve, but then also to bring in a CEO on a 10-year deal. That is Lori and Rodriguez saying, we want people to be here for a very long time and to kind of be able to build and grow together. And so I just, like, when I first saw that it was 10 years, I mean, that was an eye-opening number to look at, and a commitment that this ownership group is making to someone who has never been in the NBA. It's something that I'm sure is going to grab attention across the league with a move like this.
Remind me how long Tim Connolly's deal is for at this point.
That, one of the interesting things right now is that last summer, Tim Connolly could have opted out of his deal and became a free agent. He instead sort of renegotiated to move the opt-out back to this summer while the kind of ownership situation played out. And to this point, we have not heard the team make an announcement of a new deal for Tim Connolly. I mean, and when you look at, the way that he has constructed roster that's made the Western Conference Finals in back-to-back seasons, he certainly is in line for something like that. Connolly said at the end of the season that he's super happy here. I know that he has turned down overtures from other teams over the last 2 years to go elsewhere. And so he wants to get something done here. And I think he wants to remain here. I know that Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lowry want Tim Connolly to be running the show for a long time. But to this point, there has not been a new deal announced. I think that both sides are very interested in getting that done. But that is a piece of the puzzle that is still being worked through. Chris Finch is under contract, I believe, for 3 more years still. Cheryl Reeve, I think, is under contract multiple years as well. And so there is, a lot of the pieces now are in place long term, but the Tim Connolly piece is still out there, kind of waiting to be officially addressed.
Do you think the 10-year term for the first CEO they've hired is more of a reflection of confidence that they know they got the right person, or more of a reflection that when you are talking about billionaires, a billionaire owner who made a huge killing on this purchase and is supported by another billionaire in the ownership group, they just don't fear having to buy somebody out if it doesn't work out?
I don't think that is factoring in. Just in getting to know the way that these guys operate, I do think that they're incredibly confident in their ability to pick people to join them. And they feel great about how the Tim Connolly hire has worked out. They were the ones who led the charge on that recruitment and getting him away from Denver. They said at the beginning when they first joined the operation that they were going to come in and they were going to target the quote unquote best and brightest and hire people and pay them as well as any other one else to establish a new sort of standard here with this organization in terms of, getting star power in the door, whether it's coaches, front office, CEOs, whatever it is. And so I actually think that instead of like them thinking, well, it's not a big deal if it doesn't work out and we can just buy him out, I think this is more of them using the 10-year term as a means of sort of sending a message to the rest of the league that they're operating in a different way, that they're serious about kind of bringing in this kind of talent. And I know that over the last 4 years, they have heard plenty of whispers and doubts about their abilities to get this deal done, their ability to pay for the team, to keep it running. All of these things have kind of come into play over the last several years. And now this is another way for them to check that box and say, look, I don't know how much more sort of definitively we can say it, but we're making big moves. We mean business, and this is how we're going to operate. So I really believe that they think that Matthew Caldwell is going to be, just a home run hire and that it's going to work out perfectly. It will be interesting to watch how it all unfolds. He has not been in the NBA. He is a West Point graduate. He is from what I understand, like a real go-getter on the business side of things. The ownership in Florida absolutely loved him. And so now he's coming to a different league with different sort of environment. The players in the NBA run the league. That is not the way that it is in the NHL. So how he kind of transitions to this new environment, I think will be an adjustment. But them making a 10-year commitment, it's a big time thing, because if you do, so let's just say for the sake of argument, it just turns out it's a bad match and it doesn't go well. If you have to pull the plug on a 10-year deal 2 or 3 years into it, man, that's a devastating move. And so I just don't think that they are looking at that scenario at all. I think they really believe that this is the guy and that he's going to be the one that will help get an arena, that will help their television distribution, that will help create revenues at Target Center while they're working on a new arena, that, kind of will do a lot of the things that they need to have done. And he's going to spearhead all of it.
Last night I was kind of craving something. Didn't want to have a drink because I had a busy day today and wanted to be up early. When you have dogs, you're always up early and you don't want to get up early. So I had a Giggly, slept well, woke up feeling great, enjoyed the flavor. Last night I had the pineapple mojito. Sometimes it's the raspberry ginger mule. Sometimes it's the blueberry lemonade. Sometimes it's the blood orange margarita. The names might sound a little different. They all just taste good. They're made of fruit juice. They have ashwagandha and ginseng. They're good for you. You'll sleep well. You will wake up feeling ready for the day. No hangover, no lethargy. I love that. Go to Giggly.com. Use a promo code GigglyNorth to get up to 50% off your first order. After that, if you follow them on social media, you will find other discount codes. It tastes good. They're good for you. They're good for your life. You can find them at Quick Trips and other stores around Minnesota. I always go to Giggly.com and just order them directly. They deliver them to your door. They're low calorie. They're healthy. It's as good a deal as you're going to find for that kind of beverage. So check out Giggly.com. We also want to hear more about Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood.
That's right. If you're in the market for a new luxury vehicle, look no further than our good friend Charlie Swanson at Lexus. Whether you're on the west or the east side of the Twin Cities, they've got you covered with 2 great locations, Lexus of Wayzata and Lexus of Maplewood. Check out the all-new Lexus TX, a spacious SUV with 3 rows of seating and plenty of room for all your gear. Head over to LexusofWayzata.com or LexusofMaplewood.com for details and to find your next ride today.
So the Connolly hire, which is pushed by Lori and Rodriguez, has been a home run. Caldwell's resume is pretty remarkable. As you said, you have to. It's a different kind of league, but the business side of things he should be very good at. So they've hit a couple of home runs. It seems like they also decided to lay off or dismiss a number of employees. The person that, I knew I didn't know everybody they laid off. Obviously, Sarah Perez, who was basically the point person for Timberwolves PR, is the person that you and I worked with. I liked Sarah. I respected her. I hate to see her go. Any insights into that move?
Yeah, I mean, I think there was, a couple dozen people laid off, almost all exclusively from the business side of the operations. Part of it, I think, is a natural turnover when, a new ownership group comes in and wants to bring their own people in, and maybe some of the folks who had more allegiances to Glenn Taylor were, kind of leave on their own accord, much like, Ethan Casson at CEO, Ryan Tankey, the COO, several other, Jake Vernon and several other high profile executives left for other teams, kind of in the middle of this tumult, as it played out. And so this, latest round, or this round of layoffs that they had, I think was kind of them more addressing the business side of the operations. And so there was, I think, some people in communications, some people in marketing and sales. And some of it was done, in an effort to kind of create space for new faces, new voices to come in that are maybe more aligned with what Lori and Rodriguez want, including Matthew Caldwell. And I'm sure there will be other additions that come along as well. But yes, for Sarah Perez, who is the director of communications for a long time here with the Wolves, she had worked with the Lynx previously. Just a couple of years ago, the Timberwolves PR staff won the McIntyre Award as the best PR staff in the league. And so I know that, myself, plenty of our colleagues around the league really enjoyed working with Sarah. She's very helpful, very engaging, and helped us do our jobs and do them well. And so I'll miss working with her for sure. They have not really announced plans for how they're going to reshape the communications department. Aaron Freeman still there, Derek Arnsbrock still there, Patrick Reese still there. But I just think that this seemed like one of those choices that Mark Lori and Alex Rodriguez made, and probably eventually they will bring in someone that they think fits them better, and they'll go forward, and we'll see how all that shapes out. But I wish Sarah nothing but the best. She was just awesome to work with, and she will land on her feet somewhere else. I am sure. I know that coaches and players really respected her as well. But again, this is one of the many changes that get made when these ownership things happen. And I don't know necessarily at all that it's anything that she did or didn't do, or that other people who did get laid off did or didn't do. I think it just represents kind of a new energy, new vibe in the building that Lori and Rodriguez are bringing. And some people aren't going to survive that. So, can't say enough about Sarah, and, hopefully that she lands on her feet here.
And do you sense that some or all of the changes were made because people were perceived to be Taylor loyalists, or do you think this is just them wanting their own people?
Yeah, no, I think certainly some people were like that. I mean, most notably Ethan Caston and Ryan Tanke were very close to Glenn Taylor. And when Glenn Taylor lost the arbitration, the writing was on the wall that was, you chose a side, and they backed the losing side. And so they were going to move on. I think a lot of the others that have gone, I don't necessarily get the vibe that I don't think Sarah is gone because she was a quote unquote Glenn Taylor kind of person over an Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lori person. Same with many of the others that were let go, because a lot of them were more of the rank and file staffers that, you're not in Glenn Taylor's office every day or A-Rod and Lori's office every day. And so I think it was more of a restructuring, and kind of space clearing that was going on, and more of just a natural, hey, we want kind of we have our own ideas for how the business side could be run, and we're going to do things that way, and we're going to bring in people that we think fit that, that do it a little bit differently. And it's important here to, again, underscore to fans who are listening to this, is the basketball side of the operation has gone virtually untouched. There have been some departures from Chris Finch's staff, Corliss Williamson, a few others who have taken other jobs that they wanted, but there's been no layoffs. There's been no, the Lynx were not touched at all in this. And so, all of the changes that are being made are more so on the business side of the operations. And you feel for the people who lose their jobs in this, in those instances. But from a fan experience perspective, you're not going to see different faces on the bench, different, players on the roster because of new ownership. It's just a lot of the changes are going to be on the business side, which is more geared toward fan experience, toward, sales and marketing, those types of things that are more indirectly impacting the fan, the game attender, the TV watcher than the direct kind of impact that, a firing of a coach or GM would have.
We want to thank TSR Injury Law. They've been sponsoring this program for a long time. One of our original sponsors, probably our primary original sponsor, TSR Injury Law, 612 TSR time. I think they just recently on their social media bit of happy birthday to Nas Reed, who they've worked closely with in their ad campaigns. You see the billboards around town. The billboards drove their success, also highlighted their success. The fact that they were able, the fact they are able to advertise so many places is due in part to the fact that they've won so many cases. They're able to increase their advertising budget beyond shows like this, and that led to them getting more clients and winning more cases for more clients, and so on and so on. This started off as a very small business. They are now a very large, successful business that acts like it. They have power. They use their power to help people who need their kind of help. If you're injured, call 612-TSR-TIME, 612-TSR-TIME. They'll take good care of you, I guarantee it. Thanks also to Royal Credit Union.
Royal Credit Union is your trusted advisor for all your business banking needs. Whether you're starting or growing a business, Royal offers a full suite of business account and lending solutions to meet the needs of your business now and into the future. Royal has business checking and savings accounts, business certificates and money markets, treasury management services, and business loans. Choose Royal Credit Union as your business's financial partner and get started today at rcu.org/royal business. Insured by NCUA. Loans subject to credit approval. Equal credit opportunity.
And John, tell us about Princeton's Liquors.
Princeton's Liquors in Maple Grove. Bill Princeton and the Princeton family have been in the business for decades and decades. Go into Princeton's Liquors in Maple Grove. They have a wide assortment of anything you could want in the beer, wine, spirits category. That includes THC seltzers. That includes, all sorts of different wines, alcohols, and things like that. But they're, as I've been telling you, their specialties, craft beer and bourbon. They have really kind of carved out their niche in those two areas. Incredibly unique, wide array of selection of both local and national global brands that you can get, high priced, more affordable. Anything that you want in the craft beer and bourbon selection, you can find it at Princeton's Liquors. Make it your one stop. You're going, if you're looking for something that will wow somebody, that will impress somebody, if you're looking for a gift, or if you're just looking to get something that you really like and to start enjoying this fall-like weather, go to Princeton's Liquors in Maple Grove.
I'll just say this. I think the Caldwell hire looks like an absolute home run. Obviously, as I said before, the Connolly hire, I think it's a home run. If they keep him around for a long time, that will be another great thing for the franchise. They seem to have treated Cheryl Reeve the way she deserves to be treated. The Sarah Perez thing, I think, is weird. I really don't like it when prominent women in the industry who've done their jobs well are let go. But I'll just leave it there. Let's get on to talk. Is there anything else on the business side that we should know about at this moment?
Yeah, I guess the only thing that, to kind of take it forward a little bit on what the Caldwell hire represents, he is an aggressive executive, and I do think he's going to come in with mandates to kind of get the ball rolling on a new stadium. I think he's going to have a lot of input into what the Timberwolves do to address the just failing regional sports network situation that the entire league is essentially facing, and how they go about that. It's kind of notable that the Florida Panthers just went, I think, over the air with their TV rights, just this last season. I don't know if that's going to happen here, but it's just interesting context when you look at it. The sweeping changes right now are going to be happening on that business side of things. I think that Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lowry really want this now group of Caldwell, Finch, Connolly, Reeve to be their best, their kind of whatever you call it, their leadership panel going forward for a very, very long time. They want them together. They believe that continuity is going to bring success and going to bring sustainability. And so I would expect that we will be hearing quite a lot from Matthew Caldwell once he gets settled here in September, and that there's going to be an ambitious sort of agenda for him to get everything going so that the business side of the operations can catch up to the basketball side in terms of productivity, revenue generation, and then just kind of new inventiveness that's going to be coming on. They've said that an arena is a 5 to 7 to 10 year project. I think that Caldwell is going to come in and really kind of spearhead that. And it's just going to be interesting to see how he moves around here and what he does, because he's got a lot on his plate to do, leading the business side of the Timberwolves and Lynx.
Let's start talking about the Lynx. Then we'll eventually get to our Twitter question and talk a little bit about Malik Beasley rumors and the roster. I was at the game Sunday night. Nafisa Keller comes back from missing 7 games with a knee injury, and she scores 32 points. She hits 5 of her first 6 shots. She looks like she's absolutely at her peak. But what I really found interesting, as someone who's covered the Lynx extensively since 2010, 2011, is, Reeve had a dynasty. She had a team that won 4 championships, should have won a 5th in a 7-year span. She had 4 Hall of Famers, should have had 5 Hall of Famers. Rebecca Brunson should be in with that group as well. She had a great team, and she won at a high level with a great team. This team has 1 future Hall of Famer, and it's winning at basically the same level as those teams, at least in the regular season. Should have won a championship last year, obviously, is favored to win a championship this year. And at the end of her press conference, she was talking about the way her players respect each other, treat each other. She said that there actually are friends. Not all teammates are friends, despite what marketing people want us to believe. And she said, I don't ever want this to end. And she's saying that about a team that hasn't won a championship. But I really think she loves this group, the way they play together, the way they support each other, the way they take hard coaching. This is something special that's happened out there.
Yeah, it is. And I like that you kind of went that way with it in terms of, the way that Cheryl Reeve coaches and demands and pushes and prods. It is not for everyone. It can be difficult. It can be a lot to handle, but it also has a proven track record of success. And I would say that she has taken a pathway to this roster that has clearly assembled a group that all can handle that approach, but also is incredibly tight knit. And I do think that you need that chemistry among the players when you push them as hard as Cheryl Reeve pushes them. And I think that it's been incredibly satisfying to watch the way that this team responds to her and the way that she responds to this team. And, there are all sorts of moments within a run where you can understand that, or you can see that the people involved in it understand where they are in it. And I thought that moment that you brought up with Cheryl and her talking about it not wanting to end is a really kind of almost heartwarming realization that she is appreciating the moment. And so many times you talk to players and coaches in the middle of these things, and they are so focused on the day in and day out. Maybe there's a lot of pressure on them trying to win and do everything that they can kind of lose sight of what's happening and the truly, special moments that they are producing. And it's clear that Cheryl has not lost that sight of that, which is very, very cool, because the thing that I think makes this team so endearing is its collective chemistry and vibe. And the way that Cheryl has also adapted to it as well has been really fun to watch. And so it's just a team that is understanding the moment that it's in, that is understanding the opportunity in front of it, but also is not letting the weight of those expectations and that opportunity weigh them down. They are trying to enjoy every moment of it. It's been awesome.
Yes, it has. It's been a blast. It's a great team to be around, great team to watch play. Just beautiful basketball too. If you like basketball, I just don't know how it gets much better than the way they share the ball, the assist ratio, the way they defend, their connectedness on defense. It's pretty magical stuff. All right.
I don't know. Jim, quick.
Yes.
Sophie Cunningham was just on a podcast, and the Fever played the Lynx back-to-back games. And it was fun to listen to her talk about what it's like to play the Lynx. And you can tell, like, they got beat both times by the Lynx, and she's just like, man, they're really effing good. And she remarked in particular about the style of play and the way that Cheryl has them moving the ball, sharing the ball, cutting, kind of just the beautiful game that the Lynx play, and how hard that is and how unique that is for another team to play against, because there's just not that many teams out there that can recreate the type of energy and chemistry that you need to make that system work. And she was, Sophie Cunningham was basically kind of in awe of what the Fever saw in the Lynx in those back-to-back games. And she said, Nafisa Collier's the best player in the league. Cheryl Reeves done an amazing job. Like these are testimonials from opponents. And Sophie Cunningham is not one that's just going to give flowers easily. So I thought that was really telling on where the Lynx are right now, even as the Aces kind of have really, won 11 in a row and are closing the gap. Or it still seems clear to most people that the Lynx are the class of the league, and this is their time to shine now.
Yes. All right. Let's get to the Timberwolves roster. Let's hear first more about True Vision Institute.
True Vision Institute in Bloomington. Go to truevision.com to get your consultation set up. You'll go into True Vision. It is an incredibly welcoming environment. They will take you through a consultation that gets you to your right vision correction means. And for me, it was LASIK surgery. And I've told you before, but it's just one of the best decisions I made for myself. Makes life a lot easier. And the thing about it is that the procedure itself is so quick, and it's done and it's over almost before you can blink, literally. And you're done. You walk out, you go home, you rest for an evening, and you are seeing clearly that evening and the very next day. And your life changes immediately because of it. So you go to truevision.com, tell them the Jon Krawczynski Show sent you, set up your consultation, and just kind of enjoy being educated and being cared for the way that True Vision does that, because it's on a level that I've never experienced anywhere else. truevision.com.
Let's also hear from Shepherd Goods and Lamb Chops clothing line.
sglambchops.com is the place to go. Go to use the promo code JONK20 for 20% off everything at Lamb Chops. We're talking about great, active, stylish, casual wear, shorts, hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, hats. They've got it all at Lamb Chops. And most importantly, they are super involved in the community. They are a regular presence in Minneapolis and St. Paul. Jordan Dye, one of the founders of Lamb Chops, was just putting out kind of some prompts on social media asking who else they should collaborate with in the Twin Cities. But they are a big part of the sporting landscape, and they are a local company that is just doing great things in Minnesota. We love to support them. We love to partner with them. So go to sglambchops.com, promo code JONK20. Get yourself some great looking gear with a local company that gives back to the community just like you want it. sglambchops.com, Lamb Chops Clothing.
We'll do a Twitter question to finish the show from, sponsored by Shepherd Goods Lamb Chops clothing line. Anything going on with the basketball side of the Wolves operation right now?
I guess the one thing to mention is that Anthony Edwards is in China right now, just doing one of the tours that all of the kind of superstar NBA players get, the China treatment. He went over there with Adidas. They've posted a bunch of photos from going to the Great Wall, meeting with thousands and thousands of fans at a time, and it is kind of indicative of his ascension from a face of the franchise type player to potentially a face of the league type player. Those are the kinds of players who get that kind of reception in China. And it's been kind of fun to watch him engage with the Chinese fans and see that. But one of the things that I will just say, in watching the videos and seeing the pictures that have been coming out of China, is I had heard this, but it only kind of underscored what I had heard, is Ant looks really lean. I know that he's been working on his body. He's working out a ton. He's been in Minnesota a lot working out, but I do think that there has been a concerted effort on his part. I'm not saying that he's given up junk food, that he's completely matured into a LeBron level diet or anything like that, but you can tell that he looks noticeably lean. I think he is trying to work on getting himself into the very best physical shape that he can get in, so he does not wear down, so he does not get tired, even on deep playoff runs. And you can just see it. You can see the difference in his body, just even watching his appearances in China. Just he looks like he's got a little more muscle definition, definitely leaner, and is kind of trying to set up to have a big year coming into year 6 here.
It's an interesting conundrum. I don't know, just maybe choice is just a simpler, better word. The muscle, and he's a very strong young man. The muscle allows him to take contact, but being leaner, lighter might be better for his joints overall. I don't know. Then again, you look at LeBron James and he's 250 pounds and he carries the weight beautifully, and he's been, remarkably healthy and durable, and the muscle helps him, make so many plays and have people bouncing off him. I don't know. Is there a choice to be made for Anthony Edwards, whether it's better to be big and strong or leaner?
Yeah, I guess we'll find out a little bit, Jim, because it is definitely kind of, I think, a fork in the road that a lot of athletes face in this league. And we know that Ant is a very physical player. He gets to the paint, he goes to the rim, he draws contact, he plays through contact, he doesn't flop. And so, in one sense, you would say, well, yeah, maybe having that extra muscle to endure that punishment is good for him. That said, we have heard him time and time again during the season after games, especially, sometimes in the playoffs when he doesn't play well or the team struggles, he'll say, I'm tired. I just was tired out there. And so I do think that there are times where he noticeably has looked like he has been a little tired, that he has been a little gassed, and he plays a lot of minutes. So there's maybe some of that is unavoidable, but I do think that trying out maybe a little bit leaner of a physique, maybe one that is a little bit more focused on kind of flexibility and endurance might help him to have a little more stamina and just be able to kind of play a little bit longer in games and not get worn down. So we'll see. I don't know how it's going to work out, but generally speaking, we have seen a lot of athletes sort of try, especially in their early 20s, try out different kind of physiques and see what works best for them. And I think maybe Ant is in a little bit of that exploration phase right now, and is going to come in to his 6th season looking a little bit differently and try that out. And if it doesn't work, a few more hot fries and he'll bulk up a little bit more, and he'll be, he can put some of that weight back on.
Yeah, it's actually, it's funny. It's also really interesting. Shea, is a lean guy, and he just won a title, and he stayed healthy, and he got all the calls. And Anthony is a great young player, but yeah, it's going to be fascinating to watch. All right, let's get to our Twitter question to wrap up the show.
Yeah, from Joshua Stamper. He asks, is there any steam on if the Wolves have interest in a return of Malik Beasley? A couple of people put out there this in the last few days that the Wolves are among the teams who have checked in on Malik Beasley. If people kind of are aware, he was sort of caught up in this gambling investigation, and it looked like he was going to be in deep, deep trouble. I think I still want to see exactly how it all plays out, but for right now, it does appear that he's going to avoid any real severe criminal penalties for anything, that he's kind of been cleared of participation in this, in the ring that is being investigated. And so there won't be quite as dark of a cloud hovering over him, perhaps. And so I do think it maybe opens the door for him to join a team this upcoming season, which I did not expect was going to be the case, even as recent as like a month ago. The Wolves do have technically an open roster spot, but I just don't think that is an option that they're really considering right now. Beasley was here. He had a good season here. But, he also had plenty of off the court issues here as well. And so, I think that, maybe there was a conversation or something with Beasley's representatives, just checking things out. But I do not get the sense that there's anything serious with Malik Beasley, and I would not expect him to be on the Timberwolves roster, coming training camp, barring some major change that I just don't see coming. So A lot of people got excited. He's a really good shooter. He had an unbelievable shooting season with Detroit last season, but I think the Wolves are content going into camp with Bones Highland as the backup kind of point guard, and then leaving maybe that 15th roster spot open for some flexibility. So I wouldn't dust off your number 5 Beasley jerseys if you held on to those. They can stay in the storage closet, and we'll see where Beasley ends up. I think he will get an opportunity, but I don't think it's going to be in Minnesota.
But if you don't sign Malik Beasley, he might point a gun at you.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of things you got to be worried about with Malik, and I think that might be one of the reasons that the Wolves, kind of choose to entertain other options.
Great stuff, Jon. Thank you. Thanks for taking us through the inner workings. We'll talk again next week. Also check out Jon on the Viking Update Show. We talk about the Thielen trade, the roster breakdown, team expectations, all of that. Anytime you find a show you like, talknorth.com, please subscribe to your favorite podcast app. We appreciate it, and we will talk to you next week.